Hello? Are we on yet? Hello, assalamu alaikum. Are we on? Okay, sorry, people. Bit of a confusion when I was on or not. Okay, welcome to Speaker's Corner, where everybody gets to have their say on things and topical things that are affecting the Muslim community and the community at large. Today's topic, me and Abu Siddiq, brother Abu Siddiq across from me, are going to discuss the halal slaughter. Now, that seems to be trending on social media really big at the moment. As we know, they're supposed to be debating it in Parliament, whether they are going to ban it or keep it and everything else. So if you are working a butcher's or in an abattoir or anything to do with the halal meat industry, we really want you to call in, preferably call in on 01582 481822, because this directly will affect your industry. If they ban the halal slaughter, then that will slaughter your industry. You see what I done? See what I done, bro, didn't you? Okay. So we really need to hear from you. So I've done a very little bit of research. Another brother, Abu Siddiq, has done a little bit more than me. Now, we've had the permission of halal slaughter and kosher slaughter, because that's going to be another elephant in the room. Yeah, I've got my own views on this, and I'm sure the brother has as well. Since 1933, and that's under the religious exemption laws, is that we can have meat killed or slaughtered slaughtered in a certain way. And I think Scotland was in 1928, and in England and Wales was 1933. So they are now got 100,000 signatures at least in order for them to have to debate this in Parliament.
Why is it so prominent? What's the whole?
This caught me off guard, bro. I'll be real. I'll be honest. I didn't think this was an issue. I thought we would never talk about.
We've gone past this
a long time ago. I mean, 1933 apparently, and it's been here for so long.
I do remember people were saying, like, you know, they will never go and buy halal meat and etc. And I was thinking, like, what is the issue? What is the actual issue?
That's the point. This is the question I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask the audience. Okay, is it about animal welfare mostly, or is it anti-Islamic? Because I'm assuming there are a lot of people out there that have a misunderstanding maybe of how the halal slaughter is done exactly, and think it's cruel, so they want to ban it. But I'm thinking there's an undercurrent of Islamophobia which is pushing this further than it needs. Well, further along the road, as it were. What do you think? Do you think it's something to do with that, or it's purely animal welfare?
I don't think it's animal welfare, because first of all, let's look at the procedure. What's the procedure? Is it bolts or is it air pressure? They stun the animal, right?
This is why we need someone that works in an abattoir really to come in, because I've heard, and I've never been in an abattoir and I've never experienced it. I've heard they bolt it with some sort of a bolt that goes into the head, and that's supposed to knock it senseless. And then they cut the throat with obviously to release the blood, to drain the blood. Now, if it's all to do with animal welfare, and let's say that's what this is going under, why aren't they getting so upset about factory farming?
Exactly, like battery farming with like hens and stuff.
Exactly. Well, how do they think any animal's killed? Kiss and cuddle it to death? What do you do with it? I mean,
and you know, there's a possibility that if it's not done correctly, the cow or the animal can regain consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah. Leading to unnecessary suffering. It's one of the cons of actually using that method.
But wouldn't they have to drain the blood of the animal? Because wouldn't the blood congeal in the meat, in the flesh?
This is what I was I was talking to you earlier. Like, it's called blood pooling.
All right.
So once the animal is stunned or being fired with bolts, the blood is still inside of the body of the animal.
Right.
Now, this for human consumption isn't great because of how much bacteria the blood holds, and then obviously it being congealing into the actual animal. So when they do cut the parts in that, you'll still be able to see the blood a lot more than what you would see in the butchers.
So I'm going to need educating on this. I need people to call in, ideally, inshallah, on 01582 481822 or text on 07779 481822, because I was under the impression even non-kosher and halal meat had to be cut. I was under the impression they couldn't leave the blood in the meat because it would congeal, like you said, in the bacteria and everything else.
All right. Well, let's look at some of the harms of blood pooling. Yeah, with the blood still remaining inside of the animal, we got reduced meat quality, we got increased risk of contamination, and altered texture and taste of the meat, and obviously there's other regulatory and religious concerns regarding that method. So blood pooling is something that is avoided when you use the other method. We'll talk about the other method, the other as we proceed. But with the bolts and the compressor on the head, the brain will explode in the body.
Right.
Yeah, because the pressure is bolts. So it's either going to be electrical, it's going to be pressure.
Right.
So I remember when I was looking into this when I was a new Muslim, and what I came across was that the brain would explode inside of the animal
with the bolt obviously hitting
it. That's one thing that I do remember, but I didn't take it any further than. But
I'm under the information that even halal meat is killed has that done to it first. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I was wrong once in 1986, and now I could be wrong again. I think. I don't know. Is that the case? I mean, because if it is, what's the difference between, like halal meat in this country and non-halal meat?
Probably the religious aspects of what needs for the conditions that need to be filled in slaughtering an animal. Probably that would be one of the main difference. Because
I believe that the kosher meat is much stricter in the Jewish community are much stricter on how they observe.
Wait, wait. Can I just ask you a question? Yeah. So in Parliament, have they said, like, are they only targeting the way that it's slaughtered Islamically, or not kosher?
As far as I'm aware, they are debating, or they are going to debate halal slaughter. They haven't. I haven't heard on the news that they're going to debate kosher slaughter.
Yeah.
And the elephant in the room is, bro, if you ban one, it is impossible not to ban the other. It just is. If they are slaughtered in exactly the same way.
There's so many things going on in the world.
This is what I mean.
There's so many things going on in the world.
Yeah, if you are going to debate Parliament, there is, but this is why I think there's an undercurrent of Islamophobia to it. Yeah, because if they said, look, we want to ban kosher and halal because it's both inhumane. Now, I'm sure there are some people that are vegetarian or vegan or something, and they probably think all animal slaughter is cruel. Just taking the life of an animal is going to be cruel, and that's their sort of position on it. But if you're just going to debate halal, how can you not have the same debate with the kosher?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
That's a bit.
It can't. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
For me, anyway. I mean,
what's going to end up happening is somebody's going to say, "Well, what about this?" and then they'd have to bring that in Parliament as well, and they have to discuss that. But that's not going to go nowhere. It hasn't been nowhere for decades, so they haven't brought it up as to how meat is made kosher in Parliament. It doesn't sound. It sounds a bit wise.
So Taj is texting and agreeing. I hope I said the name wrong. Smells of Islamophobia to me. LOL. I mean, it does me as well.
Yeah,
it does me as well. To be quite honest, I don't know how you can have this debate about halal and not kosher in the same conversation.
Yeah,
I don't understand how you can have that conversation.
Yeah.
Now let's say, I don't know, brother. We'll go into a little bit of theory. What if they ban it? I don't know. What if they ban it? What do you do? Are you going to become a pescatarian? Are you going to become a vegetarian?
Oh, definitely not. I eat animals.
Yeah, I mean the fish. You could eat fish as a pescatarian.
Fish, yeah. I mean,
or let's say ban.
No, but people that own farms, somebody would have to make a way for. We'll just see how.
Well, it'd have to be imported.
We'll see how they do it, innit? Because if halal meat is banned and kosher isn't, we'd have to see how where and how they do it. We might even have to go to them.
Could you do it? What, could you go to a kosher butcher? Is what I'm asking. I know that.
Well, you can eat kosher.
Yeah, I know, and I've done so myself on many occasions. I used to go to a kosher butcher's in North Sidcup in London.
Any difference in the taste?
Yeah. No, in the quality. Sorry, not the quality. Taste. The quality. You know, the Jewish people, for all we might, you say they're very strict with food, and they only eat from the front quarter. They don't eat from the back of the animal.
Really?
So that goes, mate. That goes to everyone else. They don't eat from the back end of the animal, and they have their rabbis
no oxtail for the oxtail.
No, it's just too close to ox end, so they don't have it. But The brothers text again: as Muslims, we need to get together and open a farm and do our own slaughtering. But the problem is, if there was a law, you couldn't do it, could you? That would be the whole thing.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be because you used to be able to do that before, innit?
Yeah.
For aqiqahs and stuff like that. So, for example, when you have a boy, you slaughter 2 sheep, and you have a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it? Have you not in another country? Or
have I
ever slaughtered?
No, I've never had the opportunity to do it.
I've done it, bro. I've done it in Morocco, not in this country.
Yeah.
But out there, it's very normal.
Yeah.
And it was you appreciate meat a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you do it, you know, you get in touch with or you know, like the actual. It's a different feeling when you have to lie the animal down, and it was a goat, and then I performed the Islamic slaughter, and then what they did is they hung it up on the tree by its heels, and then you skin it, and you have to put your hand in and skin. It was quite an expensive, gut it and everything. You know, I've never done it since then, but I mean, if I was in another country or this country permitted it, I would probably do it, inshallah. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you have to be brave. I mean, in a sense, not because it's going to hurt you, but you can't be like you have to. It's not. You can't be shy.
Yeah.
Sheepish. I'm full of them today, bro. So I don't know, Akhi. I mean, I know we can eat meat from the Jewish, the kosher meat, and the Ahl Kitab. We can eat from the Christians if they slaughter it the same way.
Yeah.
But could you buy? Because when I used to go to a butcher's in Sidcup. I think it was Sidcup. I forgot the name, but it's not there now. Anyway, I used to go and buy burgers and sausages and stuff like that. Very expensive, by the way.
Yeah.
And one day I went in there with a couple of brothers because we were working on the motorway. And this was years ago. And he was from Nigeria, and he went straight up to the counter in his thobe and says, "Do you give any of this money from your meat to Israel?" He went straight up and asked them.
Whoa.
I was a bit shy about it, but he wasn't shy, mashallah.
I mean, look, you got some people that say that it's permissible to eat from Ahl Kitab.
No.
So
do you follow that opinion, or
no? I don't.
Because I don't. I know, because this country is clearly doubtfully Ahl Kitab anymore. Anyway, maybe 100 years ago or something.
Yeah, I don't follow that. So
I know there is some brothers that still follow it. Though.
Yeah, they'll go to McDonald's buy a hamburger.
Yeah,
I know.
It's just, I personally don't follow that opinion. I don't disrespect that opinion, but I wouldn't. I don't personally think.
I mean, if you got so many halal options,
yes,
then
don't go to the doubtful.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Stay away from doubt.
It's quite clear, isn't it?
And I think it's a bad look to see Muslims in McDonald's anyway. Personally, it's my personal preference. Other food chains are available, but that's it's not a radio point of view. It's my point of view. Because I just think it's confusing for non-Muslims. What they think they could eat here, and it's like seeing a Muslim in a bar. It's like, what are you doing here? You know. So for me, when it comes to this, could you go to a kosher butcher and buy it? I know,
if you know what,
given the current political situation,
if they ban halal meat, before I go to just a regular butcher's, I would most likely go to a kosher butcher.
I understand, but I couldn't do it. I personally couldn't do it.
So you're just gonna eat fishes?
I was a vegetarian before I became Muslim.
I can't
for years. Vegetarian. You know, I was, but I only started eating meat when I became Muslim. For years. So for me, I would go pescatarian. I would eat fish, but fish is very expensive. Obviously, you can't have it every day, unless you're, obviously. But
I'm just saying, like, if I had to, I would probably go there. Do you get what I'm saying?
But the only reason I wouldn't go there is because of the geopolitical situation that we're in, and I wouldn't want to.
I didn't even. Yeah. No, I wouldn't go there.
That's the rereason, not because of the food being permissible. I know it is.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go there. I didn't even factor that in. I was just thinking like on a. No,
I just would be like, it's everyone's money, isn't it? They can do what they want. They can boycott, and they not boycott.
We'd have to eat the leaves, then.
No, we could import the meat.
Yeah, but by the time it gets here, it's gonna be all different.
Because a lot of the meat is imported into Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the lamb and that's imported from New Zealand to Saudi Arabia. So I suppose we could import it, but it would make it a lot more expensive.
Do you know what I think would happen? I think the same thing would happen when they tried to outlaw alcohol, and it just goes underground.
Yeah.
You just have like an underground.
Everyone slaughtering chickens.
Underground in the basement.
So secret chicken and chip shops.
No, but what I'm thinking is that it will be hidden. Do you get what I'm saying? People would still be able to. People would own cows.
Yeah, but it's not that easy, bro. In a town, or maybe in the villages or something outside. But Muslims generally tend to live in towns and cities.
Yeah, but you'd have to travel. It probably might just. It probably just get reduced to having meat twice a week, and then you travel to a farm that that's
trust the brother there.
It's undercover. You can get a bit of meat there. Do you get what I'm saying? And he's able to be obscure about what he's doing, and you know what I mean.
I think it more difficult.
I think it would.
Would this be for you, brother? And it would be a consideration for me. Making hijrah. Would this be one of the things that prompted you to make hijrah?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just for a chicken burger.
I mean, I think it's just go get. I honestly don't think it will happen. But the fact that they're debating it is the problem, because I thought we were past this. I thought we were really past it. And is it a sign that we are going down the European road? Because I think the Dutch Parliament has just dissolved, didn't it, or something? There's far right Parliament. You know,
they banned it. Actually, is there any European countries that have banned halal meat?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, bro.
Let's find out. Yeah. I'll find out.
I'm good on history.
Yeah.
McDonald's should be boycotted. The brother's texting. This is brother Taj, and let's get some chickens in the back garden. I'm assuming that's a joke. Or McDonald's. We to advocate boycotting of companies and products is an individual thing. It's not a station. The radio station itself can't have an opinion on that. But individually, it's your money. It's your money. You can spend it wherever you like, I suppose. I don't go to McDonald's anyway. I just don't go for many reasons. One of them's health reasons.
So what we got here is that some European countries have restrictions on halal meat, particularly regarding slaughtering without stunning.
Okay.
Slaughtering without stunning.
I need to know if we stun. I'm sure we stun.
Yeah. Well, look, slaughtering without stunning. So that's they've got like regular restrictions on animals being slaughtered without being stunned prior.
I'm sure this country has. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I think it's probably maybe the same. We'll check. Belgium has banned unstunned halal and kosher slaughter.
Wow.
So it looks like the stunning it's got to be stunning.
Stunned.
It's got to be stunning.
I mean, this is the thing. If you really cared about animals, you wouldn't eat them, no matter how they're killed. Would you?
It's true. That's true.
If it was a vegetarian or a vegan that had this point of view, I would accept it. Because for them, I think obviously any type of. What do you think? How do you think they kill animals anyway? Do you think they kiss it to death, they cuddle it, and what do you think they do? It's got to die somehow.
Yeah, it's got to go.
They've got to slaughter it in some way.
It looks like from here. So it's saying Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, and Denmark are also require pre-slaughter stunning, effectively banning traditional halal slaughter. Germany has restrictions on halal slaughter without stunning, leading many halal butchers to import meat from neighboring countries, like what you were saying. So these bans are often debated, balancing religious freedoms with animal welfare, which is what we're discussing. Is it, animal welfare or religious freedoms? And I do think.
So what's the difference then? I mean, if we're stunning it and cutting the throat, like slaughtering by cutting the throat, how do the non-Muslims do they just stun it and leave it to die natural, or like the stun, or what is it?
Well, this is see, we're unpacking it because this is why we're talking about things like blood pooling, and the nerves and stuff like that. How they are affected with electric shocking, all of these things without slaughtering. I think can have long-term effects. Because look, if we go to the other side of actually an actual slaughter without stunning, should we talk about that in the second half, or
no? We can just crack on. I mean,
because look, for one thing that I when I was looking into it, one thing that I read was that when you slaughter, it's supposed to be away from all other animals, and then when you slaughter, the blade has to be very sharp, so that obviously it's just one. It's a quick
and not seen by the animal,
other animals. So doing it in front of you don't want to cause stress for it to release hormones, etc., etc. And then the heart is still bumping. So because the heart is still bumping, all the blood will circulate round and exit the wound.
Of course,
and then obviously you hang the animal, and then so that removes blood pooling and all of the things that can remain in the animal, which would be harmful for.
Okay,
for
so
us.
I'm going to ask because the way I understand it from the halal slaughter that you've just mentioned, the animal passes out very quickly.
Straight away,
yeah, almost instantly, but very quickly.
Yeah.
Have Muslims done enough, or has there been enough information handed out into the non-Muslim world regarding about how the halal slaughter is done? You know, did these vegetarians and people that are against it think we just run up and start stabbing it? Chop it to bits. So I don't know. What do you think? How do they think that we kill it?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like it needs to be killed before it's killed.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, what do you mean? Talk it to death. I mean, this is what I'm saying.
A consultation.
Do they really? I mean, if I was going to have a bit of counselling, you know. Someone can speak cow. I mean, for me, if I was going to have such a strong opinion on vegetarianism, like I was a vegetarian, I would want to do a little bit of research if I was a vegetarian on exactly how things are slaughtered anyway, which is why I would have more of an issue with the factory farming, the steroids and the preservatives and all the other stuff they pump into the food nowadays, into the meat and into the chickens. These chickens, brother, they don't even have scapulas. They don't develop scapulas, so they can't, because they don't develop wings. So they're only about 3 months or so old. I know they look massive, but if you go to another country, but you're from Barbados originally, aren't you? St. Lucia.
Yeah.
So the chickens that are wild out there would be skinny.
Yeah.
And they're not big fat.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Our ones, the ones we get here, are just the quality of the meat. Generally, whether it's halal or anything else, it's really poor.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not like it was back, 50, 100 years ago, where we was eating meat that was organic, natural, fed, lived out in a field.
Yeah.
Sort of had a bit of a life. And now it's just kept in a cage. Why aren't they upset? Why aren't they banned that? Why is it just about what happens at the end of the animal's life, but it can suffer like crazy for the time that it is alive?
I'm sure they did like a watchdog or something about that with the hens and stuff like that.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
And they were showing like the acid burns on the knees and stuff like that because of the cramped conditions, etc.
Yeah, they're just kept in battery like little cages, isn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very cruel. I mean, it is. That's sad. One of the reasons I didn't eat meat before I was Muslim.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons.
Some of the conditions for Islamic slaughter, just to mention some, the use of a sharp blade. The knife must be sharp to ensure a swift and humane cut, minimizing pain. And then cutting the major blood vessels. The jugular vein, carotid arteries, and windpipe must be severed while avoiding the spinal cord. Complete drainage. The blood must be fully drained from the body to remove impurities and ensure better meat quality. And
this is scientifically... Is that usually from the viewpoint of the Islamic perspective?
That's just a condition for
the slaughter.
Islam. Some of the conditions, because there's others as well. Yeah.
Obviously, So if you like you said, if you are a butcher or work in an abattoir or have anything to do with the halal meat industry, if you can phone us on 01582 481822 or text in on 07779 481822, because we're kind of, I'm new to it. I mean, this caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
I done a video about a week and a half ago where I was just mucking around with the bread. So this bread's got halal written on it and kosher.
Yeah.
So they've Islamified, they've Muslimified our bread and stuff like that. They must have slaughtered it differently. Okay, they must have slaughtered our bread differently.
Slaughtered the bread.
Yeah. And I was joking around. I was actually pointing fun at people that might get triggered by something being called halal.
Yeah.
Okay, that video just on TikTok done 1.6 million.
Wow.
And I've already saying the topic.
Do you think that people are afraid of the term halal?
To be honest, I just think it represents Islam and more of Islam taking over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They think, Islam's taking over this halal meat. Never mind about the curry that I have every weekend or the kebab.
Yeah.
Or because if you affect the halal meat industry, you're going to affect the takeaway industry.
Yeah.
And the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
Because the brothers just won't cook it.
Yeah.
If it's not halal, will they?
So if you go to a place where there's Muslims making your curry and you're upset about halal,
but this is the hypocrisy of racism and the hypocrisy of anti-Islamic, because it only works when you generalize.
Yeah.
When you start saying, I don't like black people. What about Calvin? He used to stereotype. He used to paint and decorate. No, he's all right. Or what about Ali, the one that picks your mum up in the taxi and drops her up? No, he's all right.
He's all right.
Yeah. It's only when you generalize racism can or Islamophobia, but when you make it specific, what about a restaurant? We've got 10 seconds before we go to a break. Brothers, join us again on Speaker's Corner, where we are talking about all things halal slaughter. Get involved, have your say. And that's it.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM. Inspire 105.1 FM.
Inspire Eid returns to Stockwood Park. Get ready for an incredible celebration at Inspire Eid on Friday, June 6th and Saturday, June 7th. Join us for 2 action-packed days for fun and joy at Stockwood Park, featuring thrilling rides for just £1 to £2. Delight your taste buds with an amazing array of world food and drink options, and dive into exciting games and activities for everyone. And the best part, entry is absolutely free, and all are welcome. Brought to you by Inspire FM and proudly sponsored by Luton Borough Council. This is an event that you won't want to miss. Mark your calendars and get ready to celebrate Inspire Eid this Eid al-Adha at Stockwood Park. Remember, dates are subject to moonsight. For more details, visit inspirefm.org. Together, let's make unforgettable memories.
Landlords, let us take away the hassle of letting your property. Our comprehensive services include tenant vetting, rent collection and service charges, maintenance and repairs. Ideal Properties has 2 branches and have been established over 20 years and have gained a wealth of knowledge and experience.
If you are thinking of selling or letting your property, then speak to a member of our knowledgeable team about a free no-obligation market appraisal.
We can also offer guaranteed rental income.
Contact us on either Luton 721110 or 696050. Ideal Properties. Service with a smile, whatever your needs.
Universal Clutches on Cosgrove Way in Luton offer more than just clutch repairs. We also now cover MOTs, servicing, brakes, suspension and vehicle recoveries. We've got you covered whether you drive a manual or semi-automatic car, van or truck. We aim to provide a quick and reliable service, and Universal Clutches are an AA and RAC approved garage. For a reliable service you can trust, call 01582 876 300 or find Universal Clutches on Google, Instagram and Facebook.
Assalamu alaikum, my name's Salma from Birmingham. Please listen to Inspire 105.1 FM.
Need a ride? Village Taxis has you covered. Going to the airport, station, work, hospital or school? Call Village Taxis on Luton 250-250 for a quick, reliable service. New drivers wanted? Get registered today and join the Village Taxis team, serving Luton, Central Beds, TfL, Wolverhampton, Hertfordshire and beyond. Taxi rental also available. Download our easy-to-use Village Taxis app or call on 01582 250 250 to book your ride today. Village Taxis, your local taxi company.
Days of Dhul Hijjah on Inspire FM. Make the most out of the 10th day, Eid al-Adha, by participating in the Eid prayer in your local mosque. Engage in takbir throughout the day, look presentable in your best clothes, and enjoy it all, whilst keeping in mind that your day was possible due to the goodness of Allah. Make sure to stay tuned to Inspire FM. Assalamu alaikum.
For decades, Aghosh UK has been honouring the sacred sunnah of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, from the selection of healthy animals under Sharia guidelines and for the dignified distribution to thousands of deserving families across Pakistan, and to our oppressed brothers and sisters in Gaza. This Eid al-Adha, give Qurbani from the comfort of your home in UK. Visit aghoshuk.org and share the joy of Eid. Donate today.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Assalamu alaikum. You're back here on Speaker's Corner with myself, Issa English, aka Doward, and Abu Siddiq. And we're going into the halal slaughter debate, debacle, fiasco, pantomime. And the brother's done a little bit of digging during the break, haven't you? I think you've been looking at your computer, bro. I've been sort of doing nothing.
One of the things that may be unsavory about animal being slaughtered with a blade, is this the way that it looks visually.
Mm.
Have you seen that? Have you seen the way when you obviously?
I've done it.
You've done it, yeah.
I've done it, yeah. But what you do is you put the ear, put the ear over the eyes, and I covered the eyes, and so the animal didn't actually see what was about to happen.
Yeah, so the animal's not supposed to see the blade.
No, and it's not supposed to see the other animals.
It's not supposed to see the other animals, and the other animals are not supposed to see it while it's being slaughtered.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that the way that it looks. So if somebody was to be watching you do that, do you know why I say this? Yeah, because you know, when you have a child, you get a cow slaughtered or a sheep slaughtered, etc. So they did it for one of my kids, and they sent me a video of it. So I sent it to my dad. I said, "Yeah, look, we did it," and then he was like,
"You unhappy?"
He didn't like what he saw. Obviously, he knows what it is.
But does your dad eat meat?
Yeah, of course he eats meat. This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like maybe because of the way that it looks, it's quite shocking. Do you get what I'm saying? To see like blood gushing out and you know all this kind of, you know, if you've never seen it before, it can be a bit.
Well, it can be a bit gory, can't it? I mean, but we're used to seeing our meat wrapped up in a package.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, neat and tidy. We don't realise that was a living animal.
This is what I'm saying. That's removed. That's literally removed from society to an extent that you just go to the butchers. It's all wrapped and packed.
Yeah, it's already cut, wrapped and packed.
But if you was to see what happened before it ended up,
when it put people off,
we'd probably have more vegans.
We'll probably have more vegetarians and vegans. Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I think if a vegetarian stroke vegan had this opinion, I would accept it as a genuine opinion. But when everyone says that they eat meat, but they just don't want to like halal slaughter, I think that's just an excuse now to. Yeah, a lot of the time, it's an excuse just to have a dig at Muslims and Islam. Yeah, my personal opinion. Because if you're eating meat, then it's going to have to die somehow. We don't die by, death by foot massage. It's got to be dead somehow, isn't it? You know what I mean? We've got to kill it. It's got to go. You know what I mean? We can, you don't just slap it on the back and roll it in the. It's so for me, it's a little disingenuous to say that. I eat meat, but I don't want to eat halal meat, or I don't agree with halal meat.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what is that all about?
How do you think they killed it or they slaughtered it in the past before they stunned it? Then? What did they do in the past? How did they used to do it?
They would have to use a knife.
Well, exactly. Yeah. What exactly? Exactly. That's how they would do it, wouldn't it? So this stunning could only be 40, 50, 60 years. Yeah. I don't know. But it's not going to be modern, is it? It's not going to be. It's not going to be old, is it? Because in the old days they wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, I mean, look, we're sort of. I want to go into a little bit of ifs. If now, the possibility, if they ban it, you've said that you will. That would be a prompt for you to make hijrah. Yeah. Another prompt.
Yeah, I'm off.
It's not the main one, but it's definitely something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't buy from a kosher butcher, not because I don't believe it's permissible to eat, but my personal opinion. It's not the radio.
I mean, like what you said.
Yeah,
is that it probably wouldn't stop there. Then it would be circumcision.
That's what I thought.
Then it would be the hijab.
Yeah. And then it will be Islamic schools.
Yeah.
Because once you knock one down, it's like a domino.
Yeah.
And they're all
of those, along with all of what stacked against us as Muslims in this society, those things would just contribute to making you want to make decisions of being elsewhere. And being in a different community altogether.
Again, yes, for me, brother. I mean, I would go veggie. I would just eat fish when I could afford it. Yeah, I mean, but
that's
it's
rough.
not.
That's rough.
I done my best lifts on vegetarian, bro.
Yeah,
yeah. I was actually vegan. I done 240 squat for one.
But was you building muscle though?
Yeah. Well, I was lifting more weight. So by default, you must be building muscle to lift weight. It's a scientific.
I mean, like they say, look at the size of cows and look at the size of gorillas and stuff like that, and all they eat is, you know.
But because their stomachs are built to they've got a bacteria that takes the protein out, a bacteria that digests the bacteria out of it as a protein.
Yeah.
So obviously,
they're getting a protein.
Of course they are. Yeah. It's just.
So how do we get a protein?
Because we don't have four stomachs. We're not a cow, obviously, and we're not a gorilla. So we get the protein from meats. Yeah. There is a very small amount of protein in vegetables. I mean, it's like tiny. A small amount of carbs in vegetables as well.
I can do it.
But it's minuscule.
Have you tasted kale, bro? Like, have you eat? It's just like it tastes like
you got to know how to cook when you cook vegetarian.
It's like a stinging nettle.
We'll all start eating stinging nettle. I would be okay to go back to vegetarian and eating fish, but I would be annoyed that I had to do it.
Yeah,
you know, like
shark is nice. I would do that.
Are we allowed to eat shark? We are.
Yeah. Yeah, shark is not because there's no bones in there.
No, would you?
Not like
I don't think I've ever eaten shark, to be honest with you.
Oh man,
do you eat crustaceans as well, like lobster, crab, shrimp?
No.
I don't.
Shrimp is just like a white cockroach, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't eat that.
I mean, I think Islamic
prawns and stuff. I stopped eating prawns a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't eat them for the. I don't know what Islamically. I think we're allowed to eat them. Or I know there's some fippy. I'm not going to get into the opinion of it. I just don't eat them anyway.
Yeah, neither do I. But shark is nice because you can eat it. You can eat it without having to worry about being choking on bones and stuff. You know, like snapper's got so much bones inside.
Red snapper.
Yeah, red snapper. Yeah. So much. You spend more time picking bones out of it than eating the fish.
You just want to throw it away. I'm burning more calories looking for the bones and it's in the fish
and
itself.
If you get one in your throat, it's like, oh my god,
you can kill it, can't it?
Yeah.
Well, it can be a big problem. You have to get the tweezers and
oh man,
yeah, that's
shark now. Yeah, it's like.
But I don't think we should just eat loads of sharks, bro.
Oh man,
this is another thing I've seen about these big burger chains. Do you know they sell tons and millions of tons of burgers every day?
Yeah. Well, where's it coming from?
Where's it coming from?
Yeah. There's hundreds of burger shops in Luton.
But the big ones, like the big brands. Let's just, I don't want to say they're on air, but we know the ones I'm talking about.
Just everywhere in general, like
where's it all coming from?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
The quality of the food's got to be terrible, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I think that's why we
pigeon count must be going down too as well. Less cats and dogs on the road.
I mean, yeah. For me, brother, I worried about the circumcision and then where it's going to go. Because if they're going to say this is cruelty to animals, then circumcision is cruelty to kids.
Cruelty to babies.
You can make that argument.
Yeah.
And that will affect the Jewish community as well because they also circumcise.
They circumcise. Yeah.
I think the only thing saving halal meat in this country now is the kosher meat.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that
because they know that after that they'd have to deal with them.
They can't do just.
And you can't deal with them. Yeah,
no, you're not dealing with them.
Yeah, you're not dealing with them.
No, they're not having it, mate. They'll be like, don't say it.
Yeah. So we're gonna say like, if you're gonna shine the light on us, you have to shine the light there. And then they're gonna say, well, if you can't ban, we would say like, you can't just ban halal. You have to ban. You
have to ban kosher.
Yeah. And that's not happened. So I doubt it would happen. In my opinion.
But the worrying thing is that they're actually debating it. I think it's the UK Supreme Court has seized jurisdiction on this. And the president of that is a man called Lord Robert Greene. I wrote this down. Now, this is the research I've done.
So Robert Greene doesn't eat meat?
I don't know. Well, he doesn't like halal slaughter. Look, this is the research I've done. It may need double checking because I only had limited time to look at it. But this is the president of the UK Supreme Court. And he's supposed to be anti-halal slaughter. I mean, that's just my research. It could be wrong. So there's some big push to this. There's some big weighty people that want to push this out. I mean, if we get the likes of Nigel Farage in power, or as a hung parliament, they'll definitely push for no halal meat.
There's so many other things to push for than what people are eating, like, and while still eating meat. It just.
Yeah, but it's a big one to them, isn't it, bro? It's to them anything that makes.
This is where I see where you're coming. I see where you're coming from now, because now you can't eat eating meat and then you want to ban halal meat.
Especially if you take takeaways, if you eat takeaways every now and again, because the takeaway industry is predominantly.
What do you call that? Oxymoron or hypocrisy?
It's hypocrisy, isn't it? Because I'm going to eat meat, just not the meat that you killed or your people killed.
They want it to be stunned.
Yeah, but.
I think that the community should look into,
there's a counter petition.
Yeah.
I think the radio station I'll put it on my socials anyway. Al Rijal.
But people should look into the effects of stunning and this and pressure bolts in the head of an animal and see if they still really want to eat that type of meat. Because I don't think
what happens if our halal meat is still stunned? Because I think it is, bro. I'm thinking that
I think that it is as well, because that's the main thing. They're saying that before you have to kill the animal before you kill the animal. So they don't believe that the way that Muslims slaughter animals is killing the animal, like it's going through stress. Do you get what I'm saying? And that their method ensures that the animal isn't going through stress. So they want you to do that prior to slaughtering. In all of these other countries. Can I go through this?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
So studies have compared different slaughter methods, including air pressure stunning, captive bolt stunning, and halal slaughter with a sharp blade to assess their effects on animal stress levels.
So who done this research?
This research is being conducted. Is it Oxford Academy or Oxford Academic, I believe. And it says one study examined the effectiveness of pneumatically powered penetrating and non-penetrating captive bolts in stunning cattle. It measured physical bolt parameters like velocity and kinetic energy, as well as clinical indicators of brain functions after the stunning. Yeah, so I believe the animals hooked up with
so it was still brain alive, as it were.
Yeah, so they hooked up the animal in order to monitor the stress levels of what happens after these different methods. Another study compared head-only electrical stunning, percussive captive bolt stunning, and no stunning to evaluate the impact on halal meat quality. These studies suggest that halal slaughter with a sharp blade may result in rapid unconsciousness and reduced stress, while stunning methods can vary in effectiveness depending on the equipment and the technique used. So there you have it. The shot yeah, so there you have it. So it shows that the slaughtering with the knife is less stress. It reduces the stress because all of these hormones are released into the animals, and then
stress hormones.
Yeah,
affects the meat, the quality, and everything else.
And the thing is that if the heart is pumping, that means all of the nerves are pumping, but the animal is not conscious, and that allows for the blood to exit the womb. So getting rid of all of them.
We know Islamically is the best way to do it because it's been legislated. So the deen. So we know, but I mean, just trying to make this clear to non-Muslims that was anti-halal. Is anybody out there that is really want to speak to a butcher or someone that works in an abattoir on 01582481822? Because this is your field. This is their area. I mean, if this will affect them more than it affects like anyone else, wouldn't it? You know?
Okay, so look, so we've looked at the humane aspects of the slaughtering of an animal Islamically, but let me import some of the spiritual conditions.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, so the person who's slaughtering the animal must be a Muslim. Yeah. So for those who are not Muslim listening to this, this is the side that maybe you didn't even know about. So the person must be Muslim, who's performing the slaughter. It must be a practicing Muslim, and then Allah's name. So Allah's name must be mentioned before slaughtering. Typically by saying Bismillah, which means in the name of Allah, and Allahu Akbar, which means Allah is the greatest. And also the direction that Muslims face to pray, the person who is slaughtering the animal must also face that direction. So facing towards Mecca, towards the Kaaba. Yeah. The animal should ideally be positioned facing the Qibla, which is the direction of Mecca, though this is recommended. They say it's recommended, not obligatory.
I think what you're touching on now, brother, is what they got the problem with.
This is why I'm bringing it up separately. That's why. So I remember I mentioned conditions before, but I separated the spiritual conditions
from the practical.
Yeah, from the practical. Yeah. So now looking at that, so now we have the practical conditions and the spiritual conditions.
So
what are we looking at? Yeah. What are we looking at now?
If you was a vegetarian, then you would be against the practical because it's cruel as far as they're concerned. And they're advertising it as they're going to debate this in Parliament as the slaughter itself.
Yeah.
But I think it is what you just said. I think the backstory to that is we don't like the spiritual. We don't like Allah's name said over. We don't like that the Muslim does it. We don't like that someone that don't look like us done it. We don't want it done in their religion name. That's, I think, is where it is. But they're not debating that. It seems to me they're debating the actual.
It's like an underlying kind of,
They're debating the practical, not the spiritual. And I think it's the fact that it's Muslims. Otherwise, they'll be debating the kosher meat as well. Was to say, effectively, it's an Abrahamic belief as well. But the slaughter is almost exactly the same, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So I think that's the real crux of the problem for these people. Is the fact that they're Muslims that are slaughtering it, and it's done in the Muslim name and the Muslim God and the Muslim everything. I think there's the problem. I think that's
why can't they just have their meat?
They do,
and we have our own meat.
But that is it.
Why can't?
Because if you go in a supermarket, you have a small halal section, and then you have the other section. But you can choose, can't you? I mean, if you,
like, you know, the country's been quite accommodating to some extent, because you can go into Asda's and get.
It's accommodating, but what, you know,
but then now
it's also a business, bro. They wouldn't sell it if they lost money.
Yeah.
And we are, as Muslims, we are part of the fabric of the society. We are taxpayers. We live here. We contribute to the society. So why shouldn't we be facilitated for with dietary needs?
Yeah,
you know, it's not like they're doing us a favor.
Let us have some chicken.
Let's have a bit of chicken. I mean, all the peri shops must be in panic mode now. Man.
Yeah. Where am I going to get my meat?
Where am I going to get my peri from now? But on a serious one, I think it's that point that you touched on, the spiritual aspect. It can't be the physical, because it's got to die somehow. We've got to slaughter it, whether we cuddle it to death or we slit the throat. It's got to die. Ultimately, it's going to end up on your plate dead. So, it's got to be the spiritual side that they got a problem with. And this is the problem that I had with it, that this is part of a bigger assault, as it were. You know, it's part of this is a culture problem. Is this just another prong of anti-Islamic views and anti-Islamic narrative that, well, we just pick on the halal meat now. It's just something else. The way it's killed. It's not the way it's killed. It's because Muslims do it. And it's done in the name of, like, say, Bismillah. It's done in the name of Allah.
This is what I'm trying to say. Like, what issue? Like, just because somebody said that over the food or over the animal, why does that affect you? Do you get what I'm saying?
They hate Islam.
Right. So
that's what it is.
That's what I'm saying. Because the thing is that you, the non-Muslim, you have the option to eat wherever you want to eat. So why would this upset you and enrage you just because Allah's name has been mentioned over the meat? Do you get what I'm saying?
It would have to be because
so this is what I'm trying to say.
Disagree with the religion.
Exactly.
Which is their option. Which is their prerogative to disagree or agree with the religious beliefs. You know, maybe they're atheists.
Yeah.
But if you're an atheist and you don't want any God's name said over it, maybe that is a point of view. But I think the majority of this has been, or at least it's going to be hijacked by the ones that just hate Islam, and that's an excuse now for them to say, well, it's another thing to say. If they could ban everything, they would.
They would, yeah.
If they could remove,
they're already trying to ban the hijab in France.
They have.
You know, they have done it already.
They have. You know, the women in France can't. Even the schoolgirls can't wear hoods.
Yeah.
They can't wear long skirts.
Yeah.
Never mind. It's France. I mean, this country, alhamdulillah, for all we might have our problems, but it's compared to other places, man. This is a very good country for Muslims to live in comparatively to other European countries, like France. If you're in France,
can you imagine that? Like,
and the police catch you praying, they will arrest you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. They don't muck about, bro. They don't like religion, but specifically Muslims.
Wow.
You know, they don't. How many Jewish people live in France? With the like the Orthodox Jews, none. No. How many Sikhs? None. They're anti-religion. They're secular, but they're more. It affects because they have quite a lot of Moroccans and Algerians, and them there. I know a little bit about France. I've been there quite a few times. So but they're very anti-religion, but that's specifically for them because there's no Sikhs as far as I know. There's no Jewish people as far as I know. There's no Hindus. Well, there might be, but they're supposed to be vegetarian anyway. But in other countries, I think it's a lot harder for Muslims.
Yeah, that's so would you say we got it relatively easy? Yeah.
Comparatively to, I do, because look, I mean, in this country we can open up masjids, we can open up schools, we can open up wherever we want, community centers. We've got a radio station. We are accommodated. We are part of the community, so we should be accommodated. They're not doing us a favor because we are part and parcel of the community of the country
and the economy,
and the economy and the fabric of the people that live here. So, but in other countries, you can be that and still excluded. You can be that and still excluded. And
I would like to say to the community.
Which community?
The community here that
the Muslim community.
Yeah, not the Muslim, the non-Muslim.
The non-Muslim, okay.
Yeah, that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be anti over. It's really not a matter that should consume majority of your thought process. And your worries.
But then you've got the likes of Tommy Robinson. He just won't shut up. I mean, he's pushing this really ridiculous narrative that Muslims are this, and Islam is that, and Islam is this. And the amount of traction and the amount of attention that he gets.
Yeah, but that's just a man that he's got an agenda. But I'm just saying that the regular person, that the regular Joe, the regular Dave, the Sheila and Karen, You know, don't be afraid of this topic of the food being, your meat being halal, or you won't be harmed by it. It's not gonna change you into an alien. You know, there's nothing to really be frightened about. But do you get what I'm saying? And if it's a case that you're ignorant about it, then seek knowledge and ask questions rather than being anti and angry and uproar. And you know,
this is it though, brother, isn't it? Because you've got the likes of Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, and other agitators out there that want to stir up this anti-Islamic narrative and make people afraid or hate even Muslims.
Nothing to be afraid of.
No, we know that.
Yeah.
You know, I know
it. But we should tell them. We should tell them. There's nothing to be afraid of. Those people have agendas, and you know
they're paid to do that.
Yeah, and you're not getting paid. So you know, enjoy the halal meat. You know, have a halal curry, and you'll probably enjoy it. Yeah. And you'll see that there's other worries to occupy your mind rather than something like this, you know,
rather than the halal side of things. But I think for me, it's, unless you're a vegetarian, I think a lot of the argument is going to be it's just a Muslim thing. It has to be. For me, anyway. I could be wrong. Allah knows best, but I could be wrong. For me, that's and this is all part of what Tommy Robinson says. It's all part of what Nigel Farage and all of these agitators come up with. Is let's just keep digging at the Muslims.
These are people that just want to cause corruption on the land. They just want to cause They want to cause. When I say corruption, it's not going to bring about peace. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't think they want peace, bro.
Right, this is what I'm saying.
I think that's part of what they want.
Exactly.
In the first place.
Exactly, and all it doesn't bring like a field where two people can have a discussion and come to. It just sounds like like something that's filled with an agenda, you know, an intention. And if that intention and agenda doesn't fall in line with your own thought process and how you go about things, then you should ignore this stuff. And I'm saying, like, don't let this stuff worry you. It's not a worry like that. You having halal meat, halal chicken is not. You're not gonna be you eat a halal chicken burger and become a Muslim.
Yeah, just take your shahada.
Yeah, every time you open your mouth, you say Allahu Akbar after eating the chicken.
Allahu Akbar. I mean, is some of the things that they think that's going to happen to them if they hang around, or what Muslims are going to take over the country. They're starting with the meat, and then they're going to, you know, convert us through the having. I made a joke about halal water.
Halal water.
Yeah. Most of the comments on my video, right, were from Muslims that didn't know what halal meant.
Is it? Muslims.
If I got thousands of comments on the video, it done pretty well on Insta, it done pretty well on YouTube. On TikTok, it went 1.6, and it's still going. But the majority of the comments were from Muslims that had not a Scooby-Doo what halal meant. It's because it ain't got alcohol in it. It's because it ain't got pork hair in it. How much alcohol do you think they put in bread, bruv? Did any police ever pulled you over and go, "Excuse me, sir, how much? how many sandwiches we had today, sir? You could be over the limit." I could see a roll in the back seat.
That's sad,
brother. So we are
really
jahil ourselves as a community speaking. You know, and they would. I mean, clearly,
if you don't know if you don't know how to make the distinction between what's halal and what's haram as a Muslim, then you need to take a step back. You need to take
several steps back.
Several steps.
I mean, and you know, catch a cab, get back.
Yeah.
We got another text here from it doesn't leave a name. Assalamu alaikum. My brother isn't a Muslim, but my brother isn't a Muslim, but she will go out of her way to get halal chicken, meat for her butchers, so she doesn't eat any meat apart from halal. There are some. I know I know a lot of non-Muslims actually do that.
Yeah. My family did that.
I was going to say, especially Jamaican, West Indian families, they only eat halal meat.
Yeah. And sometimes if they know there's Muslims in their family and they're cooking,
they will cook it.
They'll most likely go and get halal meat.
Because isn't it back in the in the West Indies, they would cut it, they would slaughter same sort of thing. Maybe they'd say different words over it, but the same sort of methodology of killing, isn't it?
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. So we've got a minute left now till we count down. So next week we're going to be discussing, inshallah ta'ala, or if we're alive, the rise of the social media influencer and how that's affected positively and negatively the Muslim community and generally the community. We can't talk about online influencers of that, talking about the likes of Andrew Tate and everybody else. And I suppose Tommy Robinson would be an online influencer as well.
Yeah.
Inshallah. So
yeah.
we'll be dealing with that next week. So what are we going to say quickly before the halal meat? Nothing to worry about? Yeah, won't ban it?
Nothing to worry about. Nah.
It's here to stay?
Yeah, it's here to stay.
And you won't...
In my opinion.
I agree, bro. I don't think it's just the fact that we're daring to debate it.
Yeah, yeah.
After all these years.
I don't think nothing's gonna come of it.
1933, they brought this law in, apparently, bro. Anyway, brothers, sisters, it's been a pleasure. Please join us next week on Inspire FM at 6 till 7 on Speaker's Corner.